It is Wednesday, and you know what that means? It is time for another episode of RTHF, and today we are jumping into the historical fictions that I'm super excited that are coming out in the month of August. We've got 4 for you today that we're going to be talking about. If you're unfamiliar with what RTHF is, I will have the entire playlist linked down for you below, but we are going to be talking about some upcoming releases that are coming out in August that I'm super excited about, and today we are in the historical fiction category. So the first book on this list is from a debut author, and it is going to be coming out on the 10th of August. It is called At Summer's End, and it is by Courtney Ellis. Now, the thing that makes me so excited for this one is that it is a post-war story. So a lot of the historical fiction books that I read will be based in when the war is actually happening. But with this story, it follows post-war times. So our main character is a struggling artist trying to get her name out there, because in this time, females really struggled in this industry. And she ends up getting a job at a prestigious manor where she goes to paint for the summer. However, when she shows up, she realizes that she has a little more than she bargained for. What awaits her is an earl who's got many, many battle scars, including physical ones. He's locked himself in isolation following the war. And when she shows up, eventually they form a sensational bond. Now, I don't know that this is what I would usually read when it comes to historical fiction. I mean, there is going to be obviously some kind of like romance involved, but it is very, very different to what I would usually read. But there's something about it that intrigues me, and I love the fact that it's from a debut author as well, so I'm interested to get it and support her. Coming out on the 17th of August will be book 2 on this list, and that is called The Bookseller's Secret, and it is by a very well-known historical fiction author by the name of Michelle Gable. And this one is really, really interesting because it follows the real-time story of Nancy Mitford, who was a author, bookseller, aristocrat, and World War II spy. So she's a woman of many talents. I didn't really look too much into what it was about. I read that byline of like who it was about and what she did, and I just knew that I was going to find it really, really interesting. So yeah, that's why it's on this list. The Showgirl by Nicola Harrison. This one is coming out on the 10th of August, and again, it's very different to what I would usually go for in this historical fiction genre. But I don't know why, maybe I'm just branching out. Now, our main character is Olive. It's based in 1927, and she moved to New York City. She wants to make it big and become a star. She's got a great singing voice, she has fantastic acting skills, and before she knows, she makes it big, until she meets her future husband. He seems too good to be true. He's handsome, he's accommodating, and he loves the fact that she is very, very modern and independent woman and loves success. But once the ring's on the finger, things go south. And he very much changes his tune, and then Olive has to make the ultimate decision. Does she sacrifice the career that she worked so hard for the man that she loves? And the last one on this list is When the Summer Was Ours. I am totally going to butcher this author's name, but I will try. And it is by Roxanne Valetsos. This one is coming out on the 24th of August, so a little later in the month, and it is based in 1943 Hungary. So I was actually talking to someone the other day over on Bookstagram, and they'd reviewed a book that was based in Hungary during war times, and I mentioned that this is a time period, an area that I haven't actually read a lot about when I read my historical fictions. So when I saw this was on my list, I was like, yeah, that sounds really, really good. Anthony is currently working from home at the moment, so if you can hear him laughing or anything in the background, that is why. Now, this one follows the story of our main character who's set to escape her controlling father by marrying an amazing, stunning Red Cross doctor. However, she spends the last of her freedom away on her family's property, and this is where she meets charming and passionate Alejandro. I just love that name. And they fall madly in love. However, they're torn apart from an act of hatred. The war starts, and now they try and move on because it's impossible to find each other, but their love for each other is never forgotten, and that love changes their decisions for generations to continue. This just sounds right up my alley. It sounds really exciting for me to be reading something that's based in a very, very different setting than I usually read, and also in a different time frame than I also usually read as well. So it'll be awesome to get a different perspective from that point of view. So as I've mentioned before on these series, I try and read at least one of the books on each of these lists so that you guys can see my thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below which one you would like me to read from this list or any of the previous lists that I have shared with you. Give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, because I'd love to have you around. And stay tuned for my next video on Friday. Thanks guys, happy reading.